federal agency pegs $4 million for Arctic refuge infrastructure file, in this undated file photo provided by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. An airplane flies over caribou from the porcupine caribou herd on the coastal plain of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge in northeast Alaska. The Interior Department plans to spend $4 million in the section of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge where petroleum drilling may be allowed. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, in a release Thursday, June 7, 2018, said the spending will be part of nearly $5.9 million approved in Alaska for critical U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service infrastructure. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service via AP file, Anchorage, Alaska, AP. The Interior Department announced Thursday it will spend $4 million on construction to support petroleum drilling within the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, in a release, announced $50 million in U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service construction projects to repair and rehabilitate aging wildlife refuge and fish hatchery infrastructure at refuges throughout the country. The president is a builder, he loves to build and he loves our public lands, so it is a natural fit that the Trump administration is dedicating so much attention to rebuilding our aging Fish and Wildlife Service infrastructure, Zinke said in the announcement. The construction money includes nearly $5.9 million for Alaska, with two-thirds targeted to support heightened levels of activity connected to preparing for oil exploration in the Arctic refuge. The money will pay for 6 projects designed to improve or construct existing outbuildings and facilities needed for oil exploration readiness and research operations. That includes an aviation fuel storage facility in the coastal village of Koktuvik to supply aviation fuel needed for biological field work and for storage buildings to protect vehicles and equipment from bears and brown bears. The money will pay to expand a cabin in Galbraith Lake and build cabin in Arctic Village to support field operations, according to information provided by the agency. Environmental groups and Alaska natives who hunt for migrating caribou south of the refuge strongly oppose drilling. Adam Colton, executive director of the Alaska Wilderness League, said Thursday the Trump administration is rushing to schedule a lease sale as early as 2019 while in the midst of a public comment period about drilling's potential environmental effects. There seems to be no serious effort to look at what the impacts of oil and gas development might be on one of the world's most extraordinary ecosystems, and instead to actually subsidize oil and gas development in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge with taxpayer money, he said. The refuge is home to polar bears and the nesting grounds for migratory birds from all 50 states. The coastal plain of the refuge, between the Beaufort Sea and the Brooks Range, is calving grounds for the nearly 200,000 animal porcupine caribou herd, which annually makes a 400-mile, 643-kilometer journey between Alaska and Canada's Yukon Territory. Congress in December approved petroleum drilling on the coastal plain within a bill restructuring U.S. tax policy. The U.S. Geological Survey estimates the plain holds 10.4 billion barrels of oil. The Trump administration in April announced a 60-day environmental review for a refuge lease sale. Colton said the Trump administration is checking a box on a hearing process but moving forward on despite strong public opposition expressed at the hearings. This is a place that Justice William O. Douglas called the most wondrous place on God's earth, Colton said. I think sometimes we can't improve upon nature. The best thing we can do is leave it alone. Copyright 2018 The Associated Press. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, written or redistributed.